Hello, everyone. I'm Alexis and this is Mute Me. As you can tell, all of us at ESPNcricinfo are going absolutely mad because we finally have an IPL season. So that's exactly what this edition is all about. We have gotten some of our brightest minds at ESPNcricinfo to argue over some of the hottest topics that you could probably find to do with this IPL. And that's exactly what this debate show is about. So let's introduce our panelists, shall we? We have Raunak, who is my other half there at ESPNcricinfo in India, and he is coupled up with Varun and Sreshth. So, gentlemen, I know all of you love a nice little feisty IPL match. So let's see if we can make a nice little feisty IPL debate, starting with none other than Raunak. But before Raunak starts, let me remind you guys of the rule. You guys will have 60 seconds within which to argue your points. But after 15 seconds, the other two panelists, if they're not having what you're saying, they can mute you. If you're muted not once, but twice, you will be ultimately actually physically muted. And then we'll hear why some of the panelists were not buying what you were saying. I as well have a little golden mute, which means I can mute you from the first second if I'm not even feeling what you're saying, but at least I can only use it once. So I will choose wisely if I need to use it. So gents, are you ready? We're going to argue over 2 rounds. Let's start off with round 1. And as I said before, Raunak, you are up first. What is your argument?
My first statement is that the third umpires must overrule any on-field calls. You know, I have had it with cricket taking 1 step forward, 2 steps back, or just taking forever to actually move forward. It's been 26 years since they decided that line calls are close. So let's send the third umpire, let the third umpire decide on runouts, then stumpings, then contentious catches, then close boundary calls. Now, when you've gone to close boundary calls, you know that even 1 run matters. If 1 run matters, then check the short run as well. I'm fed up of one law allowing something and not something else. For now, take the football route, go the VAR way, empower the third umpire. If he sees anything off on field, he jumps in and says, Nana, you missed a short run or you got it wrong. Nana, you missed a wide call because it actually hit the leg. Nana, whatever it may be, whatever's left, make the third umpire the important man over here, not the 2 guys in the middle. They've got nothing to do anymore. DRS is anyway in place. So my call is the third umpire needs to be empowered to overrule any and every on-field call.
Oh, look at that. Ronald finished his argument with just about 3 seconds to go. But Varun, you were not quite happy with everything he was saying. Why is that?
Well, we only talk about third umpires and technology when a particular franchise feels like they've been affected, like it happened not a couple of days ago. We keep talking about empowering, but every time this happens, we're all hounding the umpire. And before the tournament starts, none of the franchises care about putting anything in place for such a situation. It only happens once they get affected. And I'm not buying this. I don't think it comes out of concern for the game when franchises complain. I think they're just being babies.
Ronald, go back in.
Which franchise do you think I sympathize with? I think the collective IQ of all the franchise owners is lower than perhaps one of us on this panel. So I'm not even sympathizing towards franchise owners. I am saying for the general good, let the third umpires have a little more power so that no one has to go after those bichara on-field umpires. I put out a tweet for Nitin Menon saying, don't go after him. It's not his fault. You had Virender Sehwag mocking him like it's his fault entirely. I mean, I've had enough of it, which is why I'm saying it'll help the umpires if you actually make the third umpire the boss.
All right, fair enough. We'll take that point there for Varun. Varun, you are up next. What is your argument for this first round?
Kings 11 Punjab need not panic and bring in Chris Gale. I know scoring runs early on looked really hard for them, but it has for pretty much everyone apart from RCB. But they should not panic because they have Puran and they have Maxwell and they have Sarfaraz who can get the runs later on. They're already experimenting with Karun Nair at number 3 as an anchor, which I really don't think they need. I think KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal are good enough at the top to keep carrying that top order.
Sorry, Varun, I had to mute you. What do you mean not rush back Christopher Henry Gale, the universe boss? What is an IPL without Christopher Henry Gale, the universe boss? It was just his birthday this week. Goodness me, and you're already saying don't rush him back. Right. I am not having that.
Right, Alexis, since you muted Varun, if I may, the 3 reasons that you just gave in your golden mute were, how can you not have Chris Gale because he's the universe boss, because he just had his birthday, and what was the third one again? Because I didn't see anything about him scoring any runs in those reasons.
What's an IPL without Chris Gale?
Yeah, he's around, right? He's there. He's there for the advertisements. He's there for the social media promo.
Well, like what? I am the boss here, and I'm not taking that.
I must say, Varun, I steered away from any Jamaican. Forget West Indian. You've gone Jamaican topics. That is like inviting Alexis with the golden mute.
I know you invited me for that one. I'm fair play. Like, we have a little biased golden mute here and there, shall we? I love our
He even wore a lovely crimson West Indian colored sweatshirt or hoodie.
And he brought in Nick Pooran, which is why I wasn't so sure if I should have muted him or not. So you know what? You're welcome. But all that says is you're welcome to Trinidad and Tobago, but probably not to Jamaica.
I'm sorry, Gail's the past, Pooran's the future. Sorry.
Oh, okay. All right, so moving on now to Sreshth. What is your topic for this round one?
Okay, my topic is that Owen Morgan should have been Kolkata Knight Riders captain this year. And the reason for that is when Eric Clapton is in a band, you don't make him play bass guitar or the keyboard, you make him play the electric guitar. And wow. Owen Morgan is that man for your team, isn't he? Kolkata Knight Riders have Dinesh Karthik as the captain currently, but he's a bit of a here and there, nowhere kind of guy. We saw Kane Williamson at Sunrisers Hyderabad, who really got his expertise into making Sunrisers a really good team. And when Bhuvaneshwar Kumar was captain in Kane Williamson's absence, we saw how poor Sunrisers was. And that's the same with Kolkata Knight Riders. Owen Morgan knows how to win games. He knows how to captain difficult situations. He knows how to really be the boss of a team with England. And that's what he's going to be at Kolkata Knight Riders. Dinesh Karthik is simply not a boss. He's too good a guy to be a captain at Kolkata Knight Riders.
Oh, that looked like he nailed that coffin for Ronald there. But Varun was the first one that muted you. So let's go to Varun. Why weren't you buying that?
Well, because I don't think Morgan even gets into all 14 KKR matches this season. Plain and simple as that. I don't think he's a first choice pick for one of their 4 foreigners, because a lot of their success has come on the back of 4 foreigners who are pretty much sealed down in that team. I don't even expect Morgan to play more than 10 matches this season, honestly.
Raunak?
The only reason I actually muted Sreshth was I think his argument was made. I agree with him to a degree that Owen Morgan should be captain, but the problem in the IPL is when you make an overseas guy captain, like Varun says, you tie your hand a little. What if he has some bad form? What if you want Tom Banton to play a game? What if you want to change that combination around? Therefore, I think you're just captain by proxy, and there's precedent to it. You can do it easily. Owen Morgan could still do everything other than appear for the toss, and he could still have his way in that franchise. So I'm happy with that. And the other reason I muted Sreshth was when he started talking about Dinesh Karthik's too nice a guy. I don't like this too nice a guy. I mean, I don't know who's a nice guy or who's not in cricket, right? So how do you know who's not a nice guy, who's not? And what does a nice guy have to do with not being a good captain and whatnot? So the minute he started getting too philosophical about DK, I muted my good friend Sreshth, but I agree with him. Owen Morgan's a big player for KKR, and I do believe he will be captain by proxy regardless.
Fair enough. All right, we will end that one there then. Ooh, gosh, things are getting spicy here, and we already had a mute. So now it's time, ding, 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 for round 2. I'm going to mix things up a little bit in this one. Varun, why don't you go first? What is your topic for round 2?
Okay. My topic is IPL jerseys are so blah. Okay. I mean, seriously, is this a race to see how many different ways teams can fit in blue and indigo in a jersey? And like, what's the obsession with gradients and sheen and gold and silver? I mean, you can't call yourself the most premium tournament in the world and have it look like your kits were smuggled out of a 70s discotheque. And I know the point is to make billboards out of your players, but they don't have to look as ugly. Just go with simple, solid colors. Look at the Vitality Blast. Clean and simple and pleasing to the eye. And so many of these IPL teams, man, their training jerseys are better than their actual kits out there, which most of them resemble various ice creams melting in like Dubai heat. I think the world's moved on from gradients, yo. Get with it.
End of the story. With 17 seconds left. Wow, I actually love that. Smuggling your kids out of a 70s disco. Nobody even dared to mute you there, really.
Solids in.
I'm amazed Varun actually observes the colors, given all I see is the sponsors on those jerseys. So well done to him. He spotted a little bit of color in between all the sponsor logos. Someone
has just pointed out that your background actually looks like one of the IPL jerseys. It could probably be. So Ronald, maybe as Ronald gets up, you're going to see him take off his polo shirt and put on like a funky IPL jersey for sure. 100%. But anyway, since we're talking so much about Raunak, you go next. What is your topic for this round 2?
All right, Varun, Sreshth, get your mutes ready. I am going to say that Jaydev Unadkat is going to win the purple cap this season. Now, here's the thing, right? Jaydev Unadkat in 2017, the year that he played for RPS, had that stellar year. He finished as the second highest wicket taker behind Bhuvaneshwar Kumar. He actually outbowled Bhuvi and Jasprit Bumrah in terms of average strike rate and economy rate that season. How many Indian pacers can claim to have done that? After that, his entire marketing, his entire sort of value went through the roof. He went for 11.5 crore the next auction and 8.5 crore the following auction. But he moved from Pune to the Savai Mansingh in Jaipur. Conditions didn't quite help him. The price tag pressure was there. And we saw Unadkat almost become a bit of a caricature figure for the money that he went, which was of no fault of his own. I think now brought back for a lesser amount, matured as captain, having been the most prolific wicket taker in the Ranji Trophy, having had a good Vijay Hazare, a good Syed Mushtaq Ali, and without the spotlight on him in conditions in the UAE, I fancy Jaydev Unadkat to do what no other bowler has done, and which he has before, outbowl a Bumrah, outbowl a Bhuvi, and actually take the purple cap for a franchise that I think will surprise in the Rajasthan Royals.
Oh, right. Almost made it over the finish line unscathed, but then came Varun and he was like, mute. Why weren't you buying that? At least until the 11th hour, Varun.
Yeah, I completely bought it until he said it's going to be better than a Bumrah or someone else. And frankly, I'm with you on that, Raunak. I really, really wish Unadkat has a great season, at least just so that he stops getting trolled so much on social media. He's a really good bowler. He's a really nice guy. But I'm sorry, I don't think he's getting the purple cap.
Perfect. Oh, that was beautiful there. All right, Sreshth, you take us home then. What is your topic for this round number 2?
Okay, my topic is this, and it's one I hold very dearly to my heart, and that is that having only one Indian head coach in the IPL is beyond ridiculous. It's the IPL, Indian Premier League. You have 7 Indians playing in your 11. You're not allowed to have more than 4 foreigners. Then why don't you have more than one head coach of an Indian team, of an Indian nationality? Overall, in the years and years of the IPL, there have been only 4 Indian head coaches: Lalchand Rajput, Venkatesh Prasad, Robin Singh, and Anil Kumble. And we've seen how good the Pakistan cricket team are getting these days because they've involved the former players like Misbah ul Haq and so on.
Oh, no. This was one that I was quite intrigued in, and the 2 sons of the soil were not buying it. Varun, once again, always quick with his mute too.
I'm not happy with Varun here because I wanted to mute first. And now because Varun muted first, I had to wait a little because I wanted Sreshth to at least get his point across. Varun didn't even wait for the 15 seconds.
Okay, we'll let Raunak go first then, please.
No. I was waiting to hear those names, and Sreshth has mentioned it. I wish Sreshth elaborates on how well those seasons went. I know Sanjay Bangar's season went well with KXIP, but coming back to it, there's a good reason why Indians don't get coaching jobs in the IPL, because T20 cricket is such a fast evolving and fast changing property. You get so much experience from being in leagues around the world, and Indians don't play in leagues around the world. Therefore, they don't even get asked to be coached in leagues around the world. You've got guys like a Tom Moody or a Stephen Fleming or an Andrew McDonald or a Trevor Bayliss, guys that Darren Lehman, guys that go and actually coach different franchises in the world, and that exposure eventually translates into success in the IPL. So I see no reason to get too patriotic about the idea of no Indian coaches. If the right people come, great, but I don't see that happening given the extraordinary exposure that the English guys and the Aussies guys and the West Indians have when it comes to managing T20 franchises.
All right, we'll end the competition there, gentlemen. Thank you so very much for your participation. And after discussing it with my producers, we have established that the winner of this edition of Mute Me goes to the man who got golden muted but came back with the descriptions of smuggling your kids out of a 70s disco and IPL jerseys looking like melted ice creams. Varun Shetty, congratulations. Came right back from the death with some brilliant stuff, went through a round where not even anybody dared to mute you, and we were thoroughly entertained by your argument. So thank you so much to everyone that participated in this edition. You'll definitely be seeing these faces again because it's a brand new IPL season, an unprecedented one, and we're going to be here with more editions of Mute Me on ESPN Cricinfo.